Welcome all you lovely people to another r/maliciouscompliance video. Our first story of the day is by Frankie Mint. 2 government agencies couldn't agree on what's classified. As a contractor, I couldn't fix this, but I needed them to get me out of the middle of it. How? I let it blow up. This takes place about a decade ago at a large US corporation that contracts with the US intelligence community. I was involved in the setup of a new corporate office in a US city. We built a sensitive compartmented information facility, SCIF, for National Reconnaissance Office, NRO, and later for CIA contract work. I'm the computer security officer. We first built an NRO SCIF and it got approved for use. Next, we needed approval for a classified network within the SCIF with encrypted links to a wider network. I was tasked with writing a security plan for the classified network and getting it through the approval process. According to the rules I had been trained on at the time, most of the plan was unclassified, but we needed to identify the SCIF location by address, suite, room numbers, and where classified material was stored inside the SCIF. Per my training, that level of detail made the plan classified. This represented a bootstrapping problem, since I needed to put those details in the plan, but did not yet have an approved classified computer system on which to prepare the plan. I contacted my NRO computer security counterpart, NRO rep, to work out how to do this, and got a surprise. The NRO rep said, "Just prepare it as an unclassified document." I say, but I need to describe the space, floor plans, which rooms will have workstations, where the servers, the safes, the crypto gear will be. That's confidential. "No, at NRO we changed those rules. It's unclassified." I say, what about other agencies? "Don't know, don't care." I say, so I can do all of this on my unclassified corporate network laptop? "Yes, and you can send me the printed document in the first-class mail. No need for courier or registered mail." I say, Roger Wilco. My security coworkers were hesitant, but I plowed in. I prepared the document as described, marked it as unclassified, sent it to NRO. After a few details back and forth, we got the approval. NRO came out to install their gear, and we were up and running. Flash forward 1 year. The SCIF wasn't fully utilized. Project management sought and got a small CIA contract. The contracting officers for CIA and NRO came to an agreement to share the SCIF and the use of the network. Background: it's government policy that in these arrangements, the space and network are accepted as is. CIA doesn't demand changes to the space or the IT, doesn't do new approvals. I was contacted by my CIA computer security counterpart, CIA rep. The CIA rep says, "Your network is already approved, but I need a copy of your plan and a copy of the NRO approval letter." I say, "Okay, they're unclassified. How shall I send them to you?" The rep says, "Send them via first-class mail. Here's the address." And I say, "Roger Wilco." Note, I know darned well at this point that a problem is brewing. Before proceeding, I call the NRO rep again. I say, the CIA rep wants the plan. It's unclassified, but I expect him to have a problem with the details in it. "Not your problem. The document is unclassified. End of story. Send it." I say, Roger Wilco. Yeah, I could have sent the docs via courier as though they were classified, but I had my instructions and I was following instructions. I prepared the docs, mailed them out, waited for the explosion. It took 3 days. Early in the morning, the CIA rep called me on a secure phone. The CIA rep says, "You screwed up. That document is classified and you know it. You included SCIF location and storage specifics in it. Those paragraphs are confidential." I say, "Not according to the NRO rep." The CIA rep says, "BS, you've attended our training, you know better. They must not have read it." I say, "My NRO rep was very specific. They declassified the data you're talking about." The CIA rep says, "Not in our channels." I say, "It's an NRO SCIF and system. The docs are unclassified in their channels." The CIA rep says, "Right, sure. Give me your NRO rep's name and number. I'll straighten him out." I gave the name and number to him, got off the phone, and immediately called my NRO rep to give him a heads up. I described the previous call, and NRO rep says, "Don't worry, you did the right thing. I'll straighten him out." So I wait. It's hard to concentrate on anything else as this brews. Lunch, mid-afternoon, waiting. Finally, I get a call back from the NRO rep. "Okay, I just got off of a 2-hour phone call. I have some instructions for you. It won't make sense, but just do this. Print off the unclassified plan, hand mark the hard copy as follows. Mark all the paragraphs with room numbers as confidential, same with the SCIF drawings. Mark the overall document confidential, send it to CIA via courier." I say, "And the soft copy on my unclassified network laptop?" "Leave it on your laptop. It's unclassified." I say, "Wow, can you explain further?" "I don't want to talk about it." So I did as instructed. Pretty quickly, the CIA sent us a letter approving the processing of their data on the network. A month later, I spoke with the CIA rep, and after some other matters, I brought up the sore subject. This was the end of our conversation. "So I sent you that confidential copy of the network security plan, but the classification markup is handwritten. You know the soft copy of that document is still marked unclassified and is right now stored on our corporate network, right?" The CIA rep says, "I don't want to talk about it. When I left the company 5 years later, our files still had 2 copies of the exact same document. One confidential, the other unclassified." I've never felt something so relatable and also unrelatable at the same time. Relatable in the sense that OP was like a middleman between these argumentative people that agree heavily that a thing should be done a specific way, but also unrelatable because it's heavily involved in like CIA and NRO duties. Have you guys ever found yourself in the middle of 2 people arguing about what way to do something and you kind of had to be that middleman just kind of going with the flow of it? Let me know in the comments down below. Our next story is by Maliciouscompliance. You want the police involved? Okie dokie. So the day after Christmas, about 10 years ago, my brother called me up and asked me for some assistance setting up some of his new computer equipment. He lived down the road from a store that specialized in discount china, so naturally it was extremely busy. Busy as in cars were parked everywhere, including on the grass in front of the store, and it was impossible to see around the corner if someone wanted to pull out of the furthest exit. Unfortunately, the speed limit, 50 miles per hour, is also extremely high on the road as well, even if you have to really try to accelerate to get to 50 miles per hour by the time you pass the store. So I decided to play it safe and was doing roughly half the speed limit, perhaps 30 miles per hour, while going around the corner of this store. Even at this speed, of course, some guy decided to pull out without checking, and I couldn't stop in time to avoid hitting him. Now, I was driving an older Mitsubishi that already had some damage, and he had a small dent in his fender. And come on, it's still Christmas, right? So I get out of the car, take a look at the damage, and turn around to see a furious, older, red-faced gentleman in front of me. Right after I tell him that it doesn't really look like much damage, so there's no need to contact the police, he proceeds to scream in my face about how I was speeding and this is all my fault. Oh no, honey. A young woman driving by herself may appear to be easily intimidated, but I was trying to be nice. If you want the police involved, let's do it, buddy. I call the non-emergency line, explain there was a very minor car accident, and that the other driver was insisting that it was my fault, so I would feel better if the police were involved. The dispatcher got my information, stopped for a moment, and then quietly thanked me for calling the appropriate number, 911 was hardly necessary, and told me that she also felt it would be safer for me if the police were dispatched. After a 30-minute wait, an officer showed up to the scene. I, not being a total moron, sat quietly in my car and waited for him to come over to me. The other driver felt it was necessary to leap out of his vehicle and run over to the officer and start screaming and gesturing wildly. I didn't catch what was said, but I did see the look on the cop's face, and I was getting more and more amused. After clearly getting told to get back into his car, the cop came over to me and asked me what happened. I told him what was going on, and that not only had I not deliberately sped up to go to the speed limit, I had actually slowed down because of how busy the business was. He nodded and went back to measure the skid marks on the road, and confirmed he believed I was actually doing about 25 and complimented my thinking on safe driving in this specific situation. He then proceeded to write the other driver a ticket, and the other driver pulled out of the parking lot a second time, with his window down, flipping me off. At this point, the cop came over to me, explained that he wrote it up as the other driver's fault for more than $1,000 damage due to the damage on his fender. He also stated that, "Darlin', I don't say this often, but I believe you should take that man's insurance company for every dime you can get. Thanks for insisting we call the police." OP definitely did everything right here. First and foremost, keeping their cool throughout the entire situation, not letting anything influence them, not letting anything provoke them, then calling the right number, the non-emergency line, then continuing keeping a cool and collected head while the other guy was off complaining and berating the police officer, and that all compounds with the fact that this guy was already just completely dead wrong to begin with. Pretty darn good story. This next story, though, is by favorite number is 121. Stop working so hard? Don't mind if I do. The background: I work in a corporate setting on a mixed team. The team is made up of a few different roles, each with their own reporting structure. I'm the only person reporting up to my manager on my team. I'm pretty much on my own for the day-to-day. The story: for the first half of last year, I worked for senior manager. That will be his name, on a mixed team. Some people on that team were rock stars, others were not. I've always been a go-getter, perfectionist kind of person. So on that team, I didn't let things slip through the cracks, which meant that sometimes, often, I did things beyond my specific role. Halfway through last year, I moved to a new team and thus reported to awesome manager for the second half. Again, I'm the only one for my role on this new team. Cue the new year and with it, performance reviews. This is the one time outside of promotion that you can get a raise. I've busted my butt on the new team and everyone I work with has shown appreciation. And this company actually did well last year, so funds are not a problem. Awesome manager is the one conducting my review, and they asked senior manager for feedback since I did report to him for the first half. Awesome manager says I'm doing an amazing job. Keep it up. Here are some suggestions. A senior VP of the company loves showing off something I made. Senior manager's notes say to not pick up every piece, allow others to fail sometimes so they can grow and learn and better themselves. Then awesome manager informs me that the average raise percentage is 3%. Awesome manager tells me they recommended I get a 4% raise. They then tell me that all of the senior managers met for the whole organization to coordinate, and coming out of that meeting, I am getting 3%. Awesome manager cannot get a straight answer why my raise was decreased. So since senior manager was part of that meeting where they cut down my raise, I'm following his direction. Take on less. I've cut back to okay employee work ethic, and I'm letting others fail and grow. Since I'm alone in my role for the team, and awesome manager just got moved elsewhere, I have another new manager. No one can call me out. In the meantime, I'm spending that extra energy prepping my resume for more reasons than just this. I think the bottom line is if somebody is a superstar employee, if you have an opportunity to give them some kind of kickback, show them that they're appreciated, reward them for the work they give you beyond what a normal employee does give you, you should probably jump at that chance unless you literally just can't because of like funds or something. Think of it like a sports team. You want to keep your superstar, don't you? And you want to keep them happy. But with that being said, that's all the time we have for today. So if you have a favorite story of the day, let me know which story and why in the comments down below. But besides that, if you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like, and if you haven't, subscribe and turn notifications on so you'll never miss an upcoming video. No matter what you do, whether it's just viewing the video, liking, subscribing, turning notifications on, I appreciate the heck out of it. Every little thing that you do helps the channel grow that much more, and I can't thank you enough for it. So, until next time, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll be right here next time on the Storytime channel.